There you go.
We should make fun of Mark. Remember when he was allowed to go? Because they want to stay. St. Henry was winning 20-2 after the first quarter. I always make fun.
We don't have it.
I remember that game.
That was not funny. Your brother was playing, wasn't it?
Morning, everybody.
What was that? Yeah, that was good. Was that everyone?
Everybody hear us okay?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Steve, if you're ready to go, I think we're ready to go then.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Call the meeting to order at 7:32. Roll call.
Mr. Gertz.
Here.
Mrs. Klink. Here. Mr. Kyle Miller.
Here.
Mr. Mullet.
Here.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Here. Okay, reminder to everyone that we're operating under a consent agenda. Mr. Bune, I assume there's no guest there to acknowledge?
No, there isn't.
Okay. Then next is approval of minutes. Everyone received the minutes from the November 17th meeting. It's Appendix A. So we need a motion and a vote to approve those minutes.
So
Second.
Okay, a first and a second. Any questions or comments on it? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Klink. Yes. Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. And likewise, today's agenda, which we all have a copy of, need approval for that too.
Steve, just one quick correction on today's agenda there before we approve it.
Okay.
Roman numeral 9 under personnel number 1, just remove letters E, F, and G. And just my mistake, we had already approved those 3 in July.
Okay. So E, F, and G is off of number 1 under Roman numeral 9.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Someone make a motion to approve per Eric's correction. Kyle?
I'll second.
Thurman second. All in favor? Go ahead, Amanda.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Mullet.
Yes.
Mr. Gertz.
Yes.
Mrs. Klink. Yes. Mr. Steve Miller.
Yes. Okay, Eric, go ahead with superintendent's report.
All right. First, we'll start off with the WKLM Students of the Week at Highland this week for the end of November and December here. Cohen Miller, Sophie Flinner, Hannah Schrock, and Macy Yoder. So congratulations to those 4 students at Highland, and a job well done. Second in your packet there is just our quarterly Business Advisory Council update that the ESC does for us to fulfill our requirements from ODE. And I think we'll move right into building and supervisor reports here this morning. So I'm going to start with the best dressed one on the screen here with Mr. He's got his Christmas blazer on. So Darren, why don't you start us off?
All right, good morning, everyone. Just like to thank Alex and Beth and Honore for working hard to create Christmas, small Christmas program in a safe way that once the video is done, we'll push out to families only. So hopefully that will be a great thing for you all to watch. They did a great job, and I helped video, so it'll be wonderful. I hope the video comes out as great as it was in person. This week, as you can see, is Christmas week, so we're all dressing Christmassy, and so that's why I have this crazy coat on today. The students, you know, we can't do a lot of the stuff that we normally do, but this is something we can do, and so everybody's getting excited to wear crazy things and for the Christmas holiday that's right around the corner. Last week, grade 1 completed their Christmas around the world. Students traveled to other countries to learn how they celebrate Christmas. And so that was a fun time for them. And then finally, my leadership video team, the Lighthouse team, has been doing some videoing of Christmas Readers Theater. And then I send that home to parents so they can see. Usually the parents come in to see these, but since they're not allowed to, we've been trying to video safely and send it home so parents get a little bit of what's going on during the holidays at school. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thanks, Darren. Mr. Havens.
Good morning, everyone. I've got 5 things to share with you. Number one is we are working through I shouldn't say working, we are enjoying our Christmas theme days as we go through this last week. Every day we have a different theme. Yesterday we had actual live walking Christmas trees throughout the buildings. Our kids dressed up with their Christmas accessories. Number 2 is our quarantine list has been usually about 20 to 30, and it is down to 1. Okay, so that is both buildings. That is such just a welcome relief to our teachers, and just having our kids back makes a big difference. As we finish up the first semester and getting ready for the second semester, we are evaluating our online students, and we are down to just 11 kids right now that are online. So we have had a few move back into our buildings, which again is welcome. Just like Darren said, Honore, Alex, and Beth did a great job with the Christmas programs, and it's just going to be a great time for our parents to have an opportunity to watch those at the comfort of their own homes. And then lastly, we are in our 3rd year of the Les and Viva Reading Endowment. They donated to us a few years back $10,000, and every year we've taken $2,500 and put it towards our reading programs here. And yes, we just continue to keep dialogue. Viva now lives in Virginia, but she's still a very big part of our school. That is it. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Travis.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start with a quick Leader in Me update. In the Valley, we're going to start introducing the 7 habits in January. Our plan is to introduce a habit every 2 to 3 weeks so that by the end of the school year, students will have the basics of each habit and then hit the ground running again next year with and going deeper into the habits as we start next school year. Students are excited for this week. We're having modified Christmas parties. Gift exchange is something to look forward to at this time. Number 3, I want to take a moment to thank staff again at this time of the year, making sure they know how much they're appreciated for all the work that has happened. We almost made it to the halfway point of the school year on Friday. Appreciate all their work. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Bune and the board for the ham and turkeys. Those were fun passing out last month as we were getting those ready for Thanksgiving. So thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Travis. Ms. Calzo.
Good morning, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, so with special education and student services, we do have a group of staff members participating in a Max Scholar program, which will provide the district with staff members who will be certified to identify dyslexia and provide training and teaching resources to support students that might be dyslexic. So that's going well. That's a pretty intense all-year program that the staff members participating in have homework, and they are working with a set group of students to meet the needs of the training program. So I'm excited to see how that turns out by the end of the year. And then we have another group that's participating with O'Calley in training on autism and how to best evaluate and communicate with families and students that have autism. So again, that group is doing a nice job in reporting that training is going well for them. There were some grant funds in the IDEA Part B grant that were allocated for technology this year. So in working with a few other staff, we decided to move forward on providing some technology for the special education department that they will be able to use for digital assessments, and in some classrooms as communication devices for students that are nonverbal. So alternate assessment last year was being redone, standardized, and with the change because of COVID, they weren't able to give the alternate assessment as completely as they needed for standardization. But this year, in taking that alternate assessment, giving that to students again, our staff will be able to do that digitally, which will reduce a lot of time and a lot of preparation for that. So we look forward to having that technology come in and support our staff members. Last but not least, for years now, and CJ started it, maybe it started before CJ, but I know that he had this program going with community field trips for students to go out and see different opportunities for employment after school. And we have lost that opportunity with COVID. So I've been talking with a couple principals and staff members, just trying to think of ways that we might be able to bring some community resources into the classrooms until we might be able to send them out again. So looking forward to that opportunity when we return from Christmas break, and just thinking through some ideas that might help some classrooms and some students with maintaining some of those skills that are needed in the workplace and just social skills in the community. So that's what I have happening with our special ed and student services right now.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
Good morning. Just a couple items here. The third grade ELA results for the district here will be back next week. And just as a reminder, ODE has removed the retention requirements that goes with that. We had a parent meeting about 2 Fridays ago with 40 parents logging in, and then multiple others requesting the link. That was a very successful meeting, and glad that we could offer that virtually for our parents here. Just to keep this on your radar, the science renewal and supplies, we'll be submitting those for your approval over the next couple months. All of our science subscriptions here in the district are set to expire in June. On the ACT for the junior class, we have the accommodations uploaded, and as of yesterday morning, 50% of those were approved at this point, which is very good for this point in time in the year. So we're a little ahead of schedule on that, which is nice. For professional development here, as we look towards the spring, working on developing some on-demand options that would be available to staff virtually, that they could work their way through on their own basis, a blend of school time versus home time, kind of however that works. And there'll be more details coming out concerning that here. And then lastly, as a district, we're on target to complete the reading and math diagnostics here this week. The completion rates are looking great, and that will help teachers as they start considering instruction here for the month of January. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Mr. Sprang.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Wanted to start by recognizing Alex Looney and Beth Penfound and the students for their Christmas programs. Last night we had a middle school and high school choral concert that featured the students in their groups and ensembles, as well as some solos and trios and duets. It was just a really positive time for us to all be together and celebrate Christmas and have something positive. So I wanted to start by recognizing the students as well as Mr. Looney and Mrs. Penfound. Also, winter sports have started. Basketball games are going well. We do offer a live stream feature if people want to be able to still connect from home and watch the games. Appreciate Art and all he's doing to help keep things moving forward. Last week, we wrapped up end of course tests for students that had to retake any high school tests. Appreciate Mr. Wilson and Mr. Pringle for kind of taking the lead on that and getting us through it. We had a couple hiccups with internet connectivity, but we were able to get through it and get the kids tested and taken care of. And then finally as well, just appreciate the board and Mr. Bune providing the turkey in hand to the staff, and then also for the planning day that we had the day after Thanksgiving break. I think that was a great opportunity for us to kind of put our heads together and get organized in the event we have to change our current model. So just appreciate that time and that ability to plan. So Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next year.
And Mr. Lunenborg.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just a few things from Chestnut Ridge and Mount Hope schools. As we are finishing up this week with the iReady assessments that Mr. Wilson had mentioned before, looking at some of that data, it's kind of nice to see the growth the students have made from the beginning of the year when they took that assessment to now, and also communicating that data not only with the teachers and discussions, but also talking with students about that. It's kind of nice to see their eyes light up knowing that they are growing. Also, we are reviewing at both Chestnut Ridge and Mount Hope, the Leader in Me structure, working with the Lighthouse team, and then taking some of that information to our IPC time. We've been introducing one habit a month to get through all the habits throughout the year, but in January, we've set expectations to start using the student leadership guides. A couple reasons for that is they're good guides and they're good structures to be teaching the habits, but also for the teachers to get a good half year working with those. So come next school year, when hopefully we can implement for the whole year, they have a good feel and a good hold of those leadership guides and how they work. So going to be starting those in January. Mount Hope School, we do it yearly, and we weren't sure about this year, but we communicated with the students to make sure this was only working with families and close relatives, but still held our Koblenz chocolate sale this year. I do have a lot of parents that have their own businesses and rely on that sale to purchase a lot of chocolates that they hand out to their employees for Christmas gifts. So that sale was completed right before Thanksgiving break and went very well for Mount Hope School. And then just one final thing here, just the success of Share Christmas at my two buildings. And I just want to thank Darlene Yoder and Laura Casey, our secretaries, for kind of taking the lead on that. Between two buildings, they make sure those announcements are going out to students, communicating that information, and setting goals for our students, and they did an awesome job. So just want to thank them and recognize their efforts in that endeavor.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Nice reports there as we are reaching the midway point of the school year, wrapping up the first semester here and heading towards Christmas break here next week. So that's it, Steve.
Okay. Amanda, Treasurer's report.
All right, I asked that you look at items 1 through 4, one being our financial report for November. It was included in your packet, and like I had emailed you, there's that new report that's just comparing our numbers and where we are to what the forecast projections were. So hopefully we can see as we go throughout the year where we stand instead of waiting until November just for May until we see how we are. Number 2 there, a couple then and nows for your approval. Our pay schools, we use that software in the cafeterias for tracking all of our transactions there. So there is one invoice there, and then Ray Associates for our fall audit that they just completed. Recommend that you approve the hourly rate of $8.80 as our minimum wage. We use this to pay our bus drivers for their sitting time for their field trips that they take. And then lastly, just want to special attention, formally accept the donation of our soccer field over at Highland from the Athletic Booster Club, and just thank you to everyone that was involved in the community, the Booster Club. I know our soccer teams are super appreciative, and as well as everyone else that's going to benefit from that field.
Okay. So we'll be voting on items 1 through 4. Someone would like to make a motion to approve those? Sorry, was there a second? I couldn't hear.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, Amanda?
Mr. Gertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Klink?
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mullet? Mr. Steve Miller?
Yes. Okay. Eric, new business.
All right, new business 1 through 7 there. Just highlight a few things. Number 1 was just to reflect the change that we made on December 1st to a teacher workday, and then formally approve our calendar for 21-22. We had our first reading last month. Number 4 there is just our annual agreement to the release time program, and we're looking at potentially February to start this year. Our annual memberships to the Ohio School Boards Association, and then number 7 just allows us to continue hold meetings remotely in the fashion that we're doing now through June, reflective with the recent passing of House Bill 404.
Okay. So items 1 through 7 we'll be voting on.
I'll make a motion.
Kyle first.
Second.
Okay, Thurman second. Go ahead, Amanda.
Mr. Kyle Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mullet?
Yes.
Mr. Gertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Klink?
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller?
Yes.
All right, then on our next new business there on Roman numeral 8 is just recommending Steve to serve as the president pro tem for our organizational meeting on January 12th next year.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, first and second. Go ahead, Amanda.
Klink? Mr. Gertz?
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mullet? Mr. Steve Miller?
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Eric, with personnel items.
Personnel there, we're going to take number 1 there, supplementals A through D there. The first 2 there are volunteers to be ski club advisors, Ken and Sherry Hosteller. And then C and D there, Andrea Miller and Brittany Wangard split the freshman volleyball coaching duties this fall and was missed this fall. So we're doing that one retroactively for this past 2020 fall season. That's it.
Okay. So A through D, or number 1 in personnel, motion to approve.
I'll make that motion. Second.
And a second, any questions or comments? Go ahead, Amanda.
Mr. Mullet?
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Klink? Yeah. Mr. Steve Miller? Mr. Steve Miller?
Yes.
The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education go into executive session for any of the following matters. To consider appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
Second.
Okay, first and second, go ahead, Amanda.
Klink?
Yes.
Mr. Kyle Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gertz? Mr. Mullet?
Yes.
Mr. Steve Miller?
Yes. I would like to mention too, before we completely adjourn here, what on Amanda's report on the Highland Soccer Field Turf Project. Just a big thank you again to the Booster Club, and to all the people that worked on that. It turned out absolutely beautiful, and I think it's something that will serve our community and our school for a long time. So thank you. Other than that, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
I mean, I'm